Good afternoon, everybody. I guess you can't get enough of these type of movie reviews, which is totally understandable. And if you guys couldn't tell from the title and thumbnail of this review, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on Good Will Hunting. And yes, just to let you know, this will be dedicated to the very late Robin Williams, a very talented and hilarious comedian / actor. Now, I guess you guys are wondering what this is about. A true motion picture phenomenon, this triumphant story was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, winning Oscars for Robin Williams and the writing team of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. The most brilliant mind in America's top university isn't a student. He's a kid who cleans the floors. Will Hunting, played by Matt Damon, is a headstrong working-class genius who's failing the lessons of life. Meaning, in a nutshell, he had a bit of a rough family life. Being abandoned by the ones he loved and getting into all sorts of trouble. After one too many run-ins with the law, Will's last chance is a psychology professor, played by the very late Robin Williams, who might be the only man who could reach him. For the acclaimed performers of Academy Award nominee Minnie Driver and Ben Affleck, you'll find Good Will Hunting a powerful and unforgettable movie experience. Sorry about the yawning. And I guess the back of the VHS wasn't lying. Oh boy, this was really quite emotional. Does have a great story with a beginning, middle, and end. A lot of neat characters to relate to. The soundtrack is actually quite satisfying. Oh boy. You can honestly tell that Will had a bit of a rough life during his childhood. I already pointed out that in a nutshell, he was kind of abandoned by the ones he loved, and always getting into all sorts of trouble with the cops. So I guess in order to get his life straightened out, he would have to he would have to see a psychology professor, Sean, played by Robin Williams. I think Robin Williams does a very good job in this role as Sean, the psychology professor. He's known to be a very funny man who's been in other movies before and after working on this one. Like Teddy Roosevelt in all 3 Night in the Museum movies. He was probably the Sailor Man in, the live-action movie of the same name. And you might know him better as the genie from the Aladdin movies. 2 out of 3 of them to be exact. Now, as for Matt Damon, for some reason I don't know a lot about him, and I don't know what other movies he's been in during his career besides this movie. But for some reason, Ben Affleck's name sounds a little bit familiar. Wasn't he Batman in one of the movies from the 2000s? Cause I assume that's where I know him from, playing Batman at some point. I could be wrong though. And as for Minnie Driver, she's like an actress I also don't know much about. Which is kind of strange because, maybe it's not that strange because, I guess I never heard of her before. But I'm not gonna make a big deal over it. You can really tell that Will still sure had quite a troublesome life. It's kind of sad because when we were first getting to know him, he seems to be a mathematical genius, solving all sorts of problems for the professors and students to know. Which makes me wonder, why wasn't he a student instead of a janitor? I mean, this kid got skills. He seems smart enough to take some classes. Well, I mean, then again, he did have a bit of a rough life. And getting into trouble with the cops, which I can understand why. Sometimes most people in the world don't have the best luck. They always have that certain rough life. Sorry about that. And I guess I can understand that. Sometimes the world isn't always that cracked up to be. You know? And I'm glad Sean was the only one who was managed to set things straight with Will here. Because it's cool seeing these two bond together on screen. And I'm not gonna lie, I was almost expecting Sean to be like Will's long-lost father or something. I was kind of expecting that to be like a plot twist, in my opinion. But I guess that didn't happen. Oh well. I can still imagine that happening. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the original script actually had that idea at some point, you know? I mean, I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but I'm just taking a wild guess. And just imagine if the script for this movie actually had a different idea about if Sean was going to be Will's long-lost father or something. I mean, I know that idea would have been so far-fetched in my opinion, because even if that did happen, there probably would have been some hints and clues throughout this entire movie about Sean and Will being related. Well, easy come, easy go. This is quite a heartwarming movie. And I'm so glad that I actually got a chance to see this for the first time. Okay, technically I did remember seeing a clip of this movie. Which was the iconic "It's not your fault, it's not your fault" scene. And I think Family Guy even spoofed it at some point. Yeah, I think that was my first introduction to this movie. Which is a good way to know about this movie. And I'm not gonna lie, I think this movie is fine as a standalone. We do not need a sequel because, well, even if we did get a sequel to Good Will Hunting, it probably wouldn't live up to the same magic as the first movie. Plus, Robin Williams was already dead 12 years ago. I mean, unless if there was gonna be a sequel, the movie would have been dedicated to him at some point. Just saying. Wait, what am I saying? Well, I don't think this movie needs a sequel or a remake. It's still perfect the way it is. I bet some of the actors were asked about a sequel to this movie at some point. I mean, I doubt it, but I'm just saying. I'm not sure where this movie is meant to take place. I'm guessing it takes place somewhere the east or south of North America. Like maybe around Texas or Virginia, Florida, or North Carolina or something, or New Jersey. Still weird that the movie never made it clear where this movie is meant to take place. So you guys might want to let me know down in the comments below where this movie is supposed to take place. Well, you know what? But yet, I could just look it up myself to find out, okay? I guess that can also work. So yeah, anyways, Good Will Hunting is still a great movie. And I assumed you guys are thinking the same thing too. So I'll give this movie five gold stars out of 5. Since it is a great movie. And if I if I ever find a DVD copy of this movie, maybe I might do a revisit edition review of it someday at some point. Who knows? But anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out this review. And if you guys have any fond memories of this movie at some point, just let me know down in the comments below. And it's also, and by the way, it is cool that Will found the girl of his dreams. And yes, they did have a bit of a mental break. He did have a mental breakdown in front of her on how he was a orphan and nobody cared about him. And he kind of broke up with her. But thankfully, he still managed to get his act together, and I guess he's about to be reunited with her off screen. Good for Will to finally get his act together.